Tag TV and Tag Radio. Be seen and heard by both technology users and technology producers throughout the state of Georgia and around the world. Low cost, big benefits, powerhouse online branded video and audio has arrived. Tag TV, Tag Radio, there's a lot more to know. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions. Its legendary mountain ranges and magnificent vistas, its natural resources and amazing quality of life. Regions north of Metro Atlanta are about to get plugged in. That's right. North Georgia has seen major population gains over the last decade in the metro area, but the rural North Georgia mountains are playing catch-up in a big way fast. It's called the North Georgia Network Broadband Project that will cover 14 counties across the northwest Georgia region of our state and extend all the way into Alabama. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, November 22nd, 2011. A special holiday greetings and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. It's Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella as we go to the hometown of Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. That's right, home of the former NASCAR national champion, as well as the magnificent natural environment centered by Amicalola Falls and at the head point of the Appalachian Trail. And, of course, home to the incredible 1,200-plus employee Mega Premium Outlet Mall. To see the future of broadband and jobs for our state, as Tino gets an update on the North Georgia Network, some 260 miles of fiber bandwidth, as we go Tech Talk with Charlie Auvermann, Executive Director of the Dawson County Development Authority. Charlie is also the Chairman of the Joint Development Authority for Dawson, Lumpton, and White County, and sits on the Georgia Regional Commission Board and the Advisory Board of the $38 million North Georgia Network Broadband Development Project. Experts say out-of-state companies are already on the doorstep ready to expand into the region. Some are more than saying that it's leveling the playing field. They say the network will be a springboard that could give North Georgia, with its natural resources and amazing quality of life, a true competitive advantage in the battle for the state's economic growth of the future. The Tech Talk turns on the switch to broadband future as Tino speaks with leading regional economic development executive and Dawson County Development Authority Director Charlie Auvermann on the launch of the North Georgia Network fiber broadband infrastructure early next year.
Charlie, thank you for joining me on Tech Talk today.
Oh, no problem. Glad to be here.
Well, we don't talk much, frankly, from the TAG vantage point about the North Georgia area, so it's great to have the opportunity as TAG looks to be more of a statewide organization. We've opened up an office in Savannah, and we're looking to open up some chapters, so this will be of interest to our listeners and also to the leadership at TAG. So thanks for being part of this. I think to start out, we hear a lot about the 400 corridor, North Georgia, and also there's a buzz about the North Georgia Network. And talk a little bit about what that network is and then when it will become operational.
Sure. It was part of one of the BTOP grant awardees, I guess, in 2009. Vice President Biden made a trip up to Dawson County to announce the awards, in our case about $34 million. What it is for our region is 4 or 5 counties got together, looked at what the broadband capacity was, what the access was, and made a determination that we needed more in order to attract business, keep the businesses that we have as they grow technologically and their requirements increase. The project is 260 miles of fiber loop, connecting in 135 miles of new fiber, and then, of course, the rest of it's dark fiber, providing a loop that basically goes up all the way to the Carolina border, comes back down sort of the 575 corridor, so it goes up 400, comes down 575, and hooks back into Atlanta.
Well, that's almost ready to go, right? I mean, I think you were saying December, January time frame, or what?
Right. Of course, some of it depends on the weather, but right now the project is on track for at least the core trunk line to be lit up late December, early January for testing, and then shortly thereafter we'll just go live with it.
If you, for our listeners again, if you could just kind of bring to life your area in terms of the kinds of technology businesses that are there now and small businesses that are growing, and what your hopes are for both this, the new initiative that you're wrapping up here.
Right. It was very interesting, actually, when we started doing the needs assessments, and we had Georgia Tech help us with that. The One Georgia Authority helped us with that. I really didn't expect quite as many companies and small businesses to come out of this study as did. It turns out that in the 5 or 6 counties, so we're talking about Dawson County, Lumpkin, White County, Union County, Fannin, and then coming back down on the west to Cherokee, that there's a lot of small businesses, anywhere from a handful of employees to 7,500 employees, that are utilizing a lot of high-tech equipment, a lot of internet access. And then we found that there's also a tremendous number of folks that live up in here that telecommute, work out of their homes as their offices, so they come into Atlanta 1 day a week or 1 or 2 days every so many times a month, and spend the rest of the time working out of their homes. So the capacity needs were far greater than what I kind of expected initially, but certainly there's quite a few. I think we recognize something like 2,600 core customers, something like that.
Wow.
So it was kind of surprising.
Yeah, well, that's great, and like you said, you're going to work to keep them and help them grow, and certainly the fiber and the broadband there is going to play a key role in that, and hopefully allow you to recruit other companies into the area. Now, you have a conference that kind of ties into this coming up, and I'm thinking that a lot of our listeners won't know much about this, but I think there's also maybe an opportunity for some of them to participate. So it's called the Watermark Conference?
That's right. It's a Watermark Conference. It's going to be Friday, December the 2nd, and what we're trying to do with that is basically get a lot of these small companies into a room, give them some talks, some presentations on where certain things are right now, not necessarily just the North Georgia Network, but crowdfunding and a number of different things that are going on that they may not necessarily be aware of, but that may help them grow their small businesses, or these days, keep their businesses alive.
Right.
And at the same time, we spend some time during that conference listening to them to try to better understand what we can do to help them stay in business, help them grow. What do they need? Okay, we've got the trunk line, middle mile capacity now, but how do you want to use it? What's the best way to make your business grow, and how can we help you?
And is this free to anyone that wants to participate?
Well, it's invitation only, but it's very easy to get an invitation. All you have to do is reach us on our website, which is developdawson.org, or contact me directly, and we'll be happy to give you an invitation. The only reason we do the invitation only is we feed everybody, and so we have to have a count for how many sandwiches and those sorts of things, but certainly we don't have a line in the sand, if you will, that if you live or have a business on the other side of that line that you can't come. So everybody's welcome. We just need to have a count for our caterers.
Okay. We're switching gears a little bit, but still on a related matter, the development authorities. I think yours and others are organizations that maybe don't get the credit all the time that they deserve. I think a lot of times people don't understand what you actually do, but you're quite innovative in terms of a number of things that you're doing. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, one of the things is, of course, we have joined TAG. We have a rather high-tech system ourselves, and think that we're reasonably savvy, and so I like to stay up on the technologies. If I'm going to help the companies up here, I need to know a lot more about this. And the advances are such that it's very difficult if you're not associated with an organization like yours to just keep up, much less try to expand. The problem that development authorities have had is that the traditional way we did things was buy land, create an industrial park, and then sell that to manufacturing and warehousing companies. And of course, with the downturn in the economy, the commercial land business, if you will, has collapsed just as much as all of the real estate business. And it's not, I don't think, a viable model, at least for some years in the future. So we're moving beyond that. We're looking at data centers. We're looking at ways of providing, as I sort of indicated, how do we get the middle mile, the last mile? How do we get you, a small web developer in North Forsyth or South Dawson, how do we get you into Metro Atlanta so that you can be competitive with all of the businesses that we traditionally see in Metro Atlanta? And we're doing that through a number of different things. Of course, the conference is obviously one of them. But we're looking at partnering to create joint ventures with these companies to kind of help them grow. A lot of things that are not the traditional development authority types of things, and we're getting a lot of response from it. And there's a number. Well, I shouldn't say a number. There's a few development authorities around North Georgia and Metro Atlanta that are sort of taking this approach that's not traditional, and we're going to help because the world changes and we're changing with it.
Well, that's a good segue into my final question, and that is collaboration. We all know in areas certainly that maybe don't have all the resources that they need, that it's important to band together and see if we can make some things happen regionally. And how do you approach that in your area?
Well, it's been interesting because we started off the North Georgia Network basically with 4 counties that recognized that we all had sort of similar problems and issues, and that's now expanded to about 8, and we may add 4 more counties here before too long. It took quite a bit of effort to get some of the individuals, the government agencies, the people involved to understand the benefits of those collaborations. At the same time, I've been involved for many decades with joint ventures in the private sector, and it's been very commonplace. If there's synergies out there, you band together, and that makes you a stronger unit to go after a certain segment of business or develop a new idea. And I think the success of the North Georgia Network has allowed organizations like mine to go out there and say, see, this does work, the collaborations are of benefit, let's do some more. And we've got several other things now on the table where the public entities involved in these things are much more willing to be involved and much more willing to, in the case of development authorities, work directly with business to partner to grow.
Well, Charlie, thanks for your time today, and congratulations on your progress in the North Georgia area, and particularly with the North Georgia Network. We'll be looking forward to hearing more about that. I'm certainly happy that you're a member of TAG, and hopefully we can be helpful to you down the road. So thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you.